everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about mediumship. Now, mediumship is where a medium, such as myself, will communicate with those on the other side. So perhaps you have a loved one that has crossed over, that has died, that has passed away, and they're in heaven or wherever that is for you, and we communicate with them and give you messages from them. So I want to talk a little bit today about that relationship, about the relationship between you, a medium, and a crossed over loved one, and how that sort of goes down. Now, I also want to talk about what your loved ones are doing on the other side, and I also want to talk about how they're still helping you from the other side. So we have a lot to talk about, right? But I'm going to try to not make this one of those long, windy videos where the guides go off on 25 different directions. You all know how that makes me feel. So anyway, here we go. First of all, mediums. The difference between a medium and a psychic. Well, all mediums are psychic. Not all psychics are mediums, okay? The difference, and very simply put, the difference is a medium communicates back and forth. A medium asks a question of the person on the other side and gets an answer. Now, a psychic can see your grandfather, can see your mother, your dad, whoever's over there, and they can perhaps see them because that's clairvoyance, that's psychic seeing. And they can say, "Oh, I see him. He's got a mustache and a beard, and he's got black hair and glasses." And that's absolutely true. A psychic can do that. A psychic can also feel their energy. So I'm seeing your dad, and I'm feeling that he is quite a serious man, that he didn't joke very often, that he was a man of few words, but he was a kind man. He was just a serious man. Now, how do they know that if they're not a medium? Well, clairsentience. So psychic feeling. I'm feeling this person's energy. So there's quite a lot of information that a psychic can get from someone across the veil. I mean, a lot of information. But the one difference is that a medium is the only one that can actually say, "Hi, Sally's dad, Richard, can you tell me what you did for a living? Can you tell me your message for Sally? Can you tell me if you like Sally's new house or anything?" I mean, any number of things you can ask them. Okay. So that's the difference. A medium communicates to those on the other side, and a psychic reads their energy, sees them, all those psychic senses. Okay. So when you go to a medium and you ask them to connect to your loved one on the other side, so there's a lot of ways that this can be done, meaning that until very recently, mediums typically just tuned into the energy around the person they were reading for. Now, the person that they're reading for, we call the sitter. This is just how it's been done. We call you the sitter. I'm the medium, you're the sitter. Okay, so I tune into the sitter and I just open my mind to that dimension that mediums and psychics can do. Remember, we can all see them. So we open our mind to cross the veil. We do so, and then we say, "Oh, I'm seeing an older woman who has still dark hair that's curly, and she is smiling, and when she smiles, she has a chipped tooth." Who might that be for you? And then you say, "Oh my gosh, that's my mother." Okay, right? So that's one way to do it. And this is the way it's been done. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you're going to notice a theme here. And that is that I never do anything the way everybody else does it. Now, that made me difficult as a student, to say the least. But for me, and you can chalk a lot of this up to my impatience, because what happens is when you have a good connection, when you have a strong connection to your sitter, and you open up that veil, You may see 6 people there. You may see 3 people, and they may all start talking at the same time. And that's just chaos, right? Trying to figure out, okay, everybody, you just want to go into kindergarten teacher mode and say, everybody sit down. But for me, it takes a lot of energy to say, okay, let me separate these energies. This is a woman, this is a man. To the way I read is different, of course. And honestly, we're all different. But for me, I'm going to tune in and say, okay, this feels like uncle energy. It's not her dad. It's not her husband. It's a family member, but it feels like uncle energy. So I'm going to put the uncle over there. Okay, now this next woman coming in, this feels like an aunt. This next woman coming in feels like her grandmother. So to me, that takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. And to be honest with you, my client, the sitter, may not want to talk to her uncle or her aunt or her grandmother. Truth be told, you may never even have met those people. But yet here they are ready to talk to you. They're happy to talk to you. Maybe you wanted to talk to your mother, but your mother's not here. So for me, again, the rule breaker that I am apparently, I would just say, who do you want to talk to? And my sitter, my client would say, I really want to talk to my mother. And so I would say, okay, great. Let me have your mother's name. So they give me the name and I just call my client's mother up on the bat phone, on the mediumship bat phone. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of teachers told me this was impossible. And this was not how it was done. But, I can't do it the other way. I mean, I don't know. I really don't think I can. Maybe I'm being stubborn, but whatever. So, if I can call your mother up, I'm just going to skip over all the other people and call your mother up. Now, also what happens is when I open the veil and I call your mother up, well, of course, other people are going to come because, you've got that nosy aunt that wants to know everything about what's going on and it wants to eavesdrop, if not even just walk right in and sit down and be a party to the conversation, even though nobody invited her. Or you might not have asked to speak to your dad, but your dad comes along too, because you know what? He wants to see you and he's going to follow his wife, or maybe they always come together, right? So other people are going to come in as well, typically. But for me, I know that I'm going to get your mother. Okay. So that's just how I do it. Now, I am not saying in the least that anybody else does it wrong, because we all do it our own way. And as long as the medium brings through people that you want to hear from, they're doing it the right way. They're doing it their way. Okay. So this is important for mediums to hear as well. So some mediums do have, and how do we do this? We work with our spirit guides. And sometimes our spirit guides know, well, of course they know us better than we know ourselves. And they know that this person works better if we arrange things differently. So for me, I've described how it works for me. I'm clairsentient, I'm clairvoyant, I'm clairaudient. But for me, I feel this is an uncle. For other people, the uncle may show up in their mind's eye. So this is clairvoyantly in their mind's eye. When you're seeing these people, they may show up on this side of your sitter. And that means it's on the mother's side or it's on the father's side. So in that way, spirit works with those mediums to help them identify these relationships very quickly. They know that if somebody's on the left, it's one or the other. Somebody's on the right, it's one or the other, maternal or paternal. Okay, so there's lots of ways to do this. Mine is not the best way. It's not the only way. It's my way. And that's a really good message here for you as well. But I want to talk about they want to talk about a few things, but they want to talk about what do people do on the other side. So a very popular question is, what is my dad doing over there, right? What is my mom doing over there? Well, heaven, I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but for the purpose of this video, I think I'm just going to go with heaven. Heaven is a place where you get to do what you want to do. So I'll tell you an interesting story. Or no, I'm not going to. Never mind. They changed the script on me midstream. I will say that if you're okay, they want me to tell it to you this way. It's a little different. Okay, so if your father, if you of course you knew your father. You grew up with your father. He's the father of your family, and you knew him a certain way. You knew that he went to work, he came home, he mowed the grass on Saturdays, he watched the football game on Sundays, and maybe that was it. Maybe that was your father. I mean, that was it. Or maybe he was the guy who did the cooking in your house. Or maybe he was the guy who went and played sports with you guys or coached your team. You know your father the way that you do within those years that you spent with him on this plane of existence in this life. Now, what happens if your father, when you go to the medium and your father says, oh, they're so funny. I'm racing cars. And you say, are you talking to Ed? Are you talking to Ed, my father? Because my father didn't race cars. My father was eating popcorn and watching, drinking a beer and watching the game. He didn't even watch drag racing. That's not my dad, right? So then the medium goes back and says, well, let me ask. I mean, it feels like your father and everything else I've told you has resonated with you and you validated it, but, someone else could have snuck in, and that happens too. The door is open. So, again, his brother could have come in. We call that piggybacking. His brother could have come in and piggybacked on the thing. And now all of a sudden you're reading someone else and you didn't even know it. So the medium goes back and says, Ed, what's this about the drag racing? I mean, come on, your daughter says that you drank beer and watched football games and you're telling me drag racing. Explain this to me. And they show you cars and they show you, not drag racing, like as in Formula 500, but they show you a souped up car and they show you a younger version of themselves. And they show you racing in the town, down the main drag or whatever. So you relay this to your sitter and your sitter says, no, that is my dad. I could not imagine that is, my dad was super boring, right? No. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to say, okay, Ed, are you going to stick with this story? Is this Ed? Let me go back and validate some more things. Go back and validate some more things. Yes, he was in the war. Yes, he loved plaid. Yes, he gave you, you inherited his, medals, whatever. Okay. So all that validates, but there's this red herring of him racing, his souped up car on the main street in his hometown. Doesn't make any sense. So at that point, the medium says, I think what would be helpful is for you to just tuck that away and check with some of the family members that may have known him then and ask and just see if that makes any sense, because Ed is not backing down from this. Ed is insisting that this is really him and that he did this. So you, as the sitter, just think, sure, whatever, that's got to be somebody else. A few days or weeks later, you go to an event and you say, by the way, Aunt Pauline, Ed's sister, did my dad ever, race cars or anything? Or did he have a car that he used to work on and try to make it, fast? And she says, oh my gosh, yes, of course he did. Yes, he got into a lot of trouble, and that's why he went into the military, right? So yes, there's the validation, right? So as a medium, I get these kind of emails often where they say, oh my gosh, okay, it made sense. It could be a day later, a month later, sometimes a year later. You did a reading and you said X, Y, Z, and I did get it validated, right? So my point here, or I should say the very long-winded guide's point, is that our loved ones are doing their favorite thing over there. So apparently Ed loved those days when he was young and he would work on his car and make it as fast as he could make it. and race his buddies on the main drag in his hometown. And you know what? That's what he's doing right now in heaven, because that was his favorite part of his life. Now, as a daughter whose father is up there doing things that, he didn't do when I was alive, I have to wonder, maybe maybe his parenting years weren't his favorite part of his life, right? But don't take offense at that, because parenting is responsibility. Who wouldn't want to go back to those days where we were free and could do whatever we wanted? And that is what heaven is. Whatever you want to do, that's what you're going to do. And for some people, it's literally, they show me a picture of a cabin on a lake shore, where they can canoe and fish and swim. And literally their kids are like, we didn't have a cabin. Well, it doesn't really matter. That's what your dad has created. That is his perfect existence. So again, I've also seen women, and this doesn't have to be women or men. It really truly is, what do you want? What made you happiest in your life? I had a client once who showed me that she was still working in the church at the hall with all these tables, and she was busy, and there were other women there that had also crossed over throughout her lifetime. And as I walked up or made my way, clairvoyantly, spiritually, went over there and wanted to see what is she working on, there were quilts and quilts and quilts. And I asked her family, and yes, that's what she did. She loved to quilt. It was her passion, and she loved to do them and raffle them off to make money for various programs at the church. So what is she doing in her time over there? Quilting with her same friends in the same hall, in the same likeness of the same church. So you may find that your loved ones go over there and sit on the couch and watch TV. I mean, if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they do. So it's really an opportunity when you cross over to just have this fantastic vacation, right? To have this time where you get to kind of really be who you wanted to be your whole life, but perhaps couldn't be because of various responsibilities that just happen in our life here on earth. So I want to segue from that into it's sort of soul contracts, but not really soul contracts. So I want to talk to you, because this is really probably the whole reason why I'm doing this video. And that is that I have a lot of clients, and everybody does, all mediums. This is normal. This is a human thing, that we want to contact our parents or our husbands or our wives or even our children on the other side and ask them, why did they do something? Why did they leave the inheritance to this person? Why did they not take better care of their health? Why did they not tell me they were sick? Why did they take their own life? Why were they so careless on that ATV, motorcycle, fill in the blank? Why didn't they love me? Why did they treat me so poorly? So many questions, right? So many questions we have as we become adults. We feel like, well, if this is an opportunity for me to ring up my mom or my dad or my brother or my son or my daughter or my husband or wife and ask them, why did they leave the inheritance? Why did they do something so stupid on a motorcycle? Well, here's where this video gets a little bit touchy, let's just say. When you talk to your loved ones on the other side, of course, they're going to come through with their same personality, with their same thoughts, habits, everything. Because if they didn't, you wouldn't recognize them. You wouldn't know who they are. If they came down here as some Zen master, you'd be like, what did you do with my dad? Right? So they have to come through in the same personality that you knew them for a few reasons. Now, one is so that you recognize them, of course, so that you know I'm really talking to your aunt, your mother, your sister, your son, whoever. Now, the second reason is that there's still work to do with you. So if you're calling a medium and you're communicating with someone that has crossed over, that is no longer alive, and you're communicating with them, this is a really big opportunity for spirit to help you grow. Now, maybe the opportunity is so that you just feel that connection with your loved one again. I will say that even though I'm a medium and I can talk to my dad, and I have a whole bunch of people over there, I really do. And I can talk to all of those people anytime I want, have a whole conversation with them. I have to say that it feels different to me when someone else does it. You know, when you give yourself a massage, it's just not the same, right? I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not the same, right? So, wow, that hurt. So sometimes the message or the lesson or the opportunity that spirit wants to convey or take advantage of is that person becomes alive again. And they really do. They really do. When I have readings and my loved ones come through, I feel like I'm literally talking to them again, and there's nothing like it. It's absolutely wonderful. And it does change your energy, and it changes your mood for the rest of the day, if not longer. Now, what happens if you call up your dad and you say, you know, Dad, why did you cheat on Mom and leave us? That really hurt me, and my mom never got over it, and it really ruined my life. Right? Well, you have every right, of course, to want to confront someone that you feel has ruined your life. But let's understand that this person is no longer here on earth, okay? So, you know, if you're expecting that person to apologize, I can tell you that there's a real possibility that they don't apologize, okay? Honestly, mediumship readings are not always about getting what you want. That person is still in that same energetic, energy. And if in life they were unapologetic and didn't care what you thought and were, bullies or, unthinking and unfeeling people, they're not going to go to the other side and just say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I hurt you and I made a mistake and I never should have left your mother. If that's not how they feel, they're not going to say that. And you know what? As mediums and as psychics, we can tell you guys what you want to hear. I can tell you what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. I'm a psychic. But I made a pact with spirit. When I took up the mantle of this work, I made a pact that I would honor what I was told. And I would be a vessel and nothing more. Because if my ego gets involved in this, game over. Game over. I'm no longer accurate. I'm no longer a true vessel for this energy. And truly, I believe that spirit will take my gift away. So I have to honor what I'm told. Now, when I tap into this person, whoever this person is on the other side, this person that has hurt you in some way, I might feel that their energy is negative. I might feel that their energy is a jerk or a person who isn't very nice. And I might convey that to you. I might say, I'm sorry, but this energy that I'm getting from this person is not very cooperating or not very nice, or maybe they're still a narcissist, right? Maybe that's their energy. And you say, well, of course, he was a narcissist in real life. So my question would be, why do you think this narcissist on the other side is going to give you something you so dearly need? Dearly need. They didn't give it to you on this side. They're really not likely to give it to you from the other side. So the message here for you is that we have to parent ourselves, that at some point we may never get that apology from our ex, from our child, from our mother, our father, from anyone. They may never say, I was a real, fill in the blank. I'm really sorry about that. I really wish that I had been a better person for you. And I wish that I had stayed with your mom. And I wish that I had never left. And I wish that I had never abused you. And I wish that's just not, in my experience, it's not typical. I have seen it happen, but it's not typical. And I would tell you that the more you need it, the less likely it is to happen. Now, why is that? Why is that? It's because they have a soul contract with you. Obviously, they came into your life. You were born into these parents. You picked them. And you signed up for that experience. And perhaps one of your lessons was to go through that and then at some point say, I don't need the approval of this person to be okay. I love myself. I know that I'm a worthy person. I know that I'm not that person that they think I am or want to make me believe that I am. I know that they are sick or ill or just not mature enough to be the parent that I need them to be. And so I have to be my own parent. I have to learn to love myself. And to forgive myself. Because many times as children, we blame us. If only we were a better child, our parent wouldn't have done this. If only we were a better child, this wouldn't have happened. Because that's what we're told, right? If you would have behaved, you wouldn't have got this spanking. If you would have behaved, you wouldn't have, your dad wouldn't have left, right? So all those terrible negative scripts, if you will, get loaded into our little computer and they start playing. And then at some point, you may want to reach out to this person who's crossed over and give them an opportunity to apologize to you. And I'm here to tell you that it may not happen. The better thing to do is to apologize to yourself, love yourself, get that help, stand strong as an adult, despite the terrible whatever happened to you. And then you know what? Then you can see your parent, your spouse, whoever it is, for the flawed human that they are. And you can have some compassion for them and some mercy for them. And maybe even forgive them. Now, when you come at that energy, when you come to a medium and that's your energy, that I've done a lot of work, and I know that I'm not the person that my parent made me out to be. And I know that my parent was a product of abuse or a product of addiction. And, they did the best they could. It was terrible, but they did the best they could. And you know what? I survived. I'm an adult. I'm going to let them off the hook and just kind of move on. So when you come to a medium and you have that kind of energy, that parent, whether you ask to speak to them or not, is more likely to come in and be less combative back to you. So if you come in and you say, I want to speak to this person because I want to know why they gave the inheritance away to my brother. I mean, come on. He has to explain this to me. Well, that person on the other side is going to come in very combative too, if they come in at all. Sometimes they refuse to show up. Well, who wants to show up for a shout down, right? But if you show up and you say, gosh, I can't even understand this. I don't know what happened. I mean, wow. The inheritance went to my brother and I just can't even understand it. There's a real chance that person, that parent might come in and explain it to you. You still might not like the answer. Okay? So they present in their same personality to give you a chance to see that you might not get the answer you want. You may not get the apology. You may not get the explanation of, well, your brother never got a degree and he has no money and I decided to give the inheritance to him because you've got a degree in a professional life and you're going to make plenty of money. You might get the answer that, well, I liked him better than you. Terrible, right? But I've seen all of these things happen. So the best thing to do here is to love yourself. Really love yourself. And trust yourself and trust that you're perfect just the way you are. And you don't need an explanation from anybody on the other side to prove that to you. So if you're calling a medium for that sort of thing, it may not go the way you want it to go, just so that you know that. I've had people call me and say, I'm adopted and I know that I just found out that my birth mother has crossed over and I want to talk to her and find out why she got rid of me. Well, again, that's a very combative energy, right? This person may feel horrible about having to give you up and may be absolutely heartbroken about it. And they may be embarrassed. And so they may not show up, But if you say, wow, I just learned that my birth mother crossed over and I'm sure she had her reasons. And I'm sure sorry I didn't get to meet her when she was here because I really would have liked to. But, I just want to send her love over there. And I just want her to know that I appreciate the fact that she did what she had to do, what she thought was right for me, her baby. Now that's a very different energy. That's a beautiful love energy. That's a welcoming energy. That mother will likely come in. Now, again, when people are embarrassed or they know you're mad at them, upset with them, they're not usually going to just come on in. I have to work really hard to get them to come in because they're embarrassed. They're upset that you're mad at them. They don't know what to say. So I think the message here about this part of this video is that if you have someone in your life, they always try to get a twofer, so they're trying to tell me, hey, Susan. Okay, I'm not going to pay attention to that message. If you have somebody in your life that you should try to make amends, not should, but you wish you could make amends with, or maybe you wonder about it. Maybe on occasion you think about this person. Maybe there's hard feelings between you. Maybe you haven't talked to each other in years or decades, right? Maybe this is an opportunity for you to just send an email and just say, hey, I don't know what happened between us. I don't know why all these years have flown by, but I just want you to know that I still love you. I always loved you, and I'm sorry that whatever happened between us happened. And I really hope you're well. I hope you're doing okay. And I just wanted you to know this. Sincerely, Susan. Right? That's all you have to do. Just send it. You don't have to wait for a response. You don't have to expect a response. That would be a problem. We do this because we just want to get it off our chest. We just want to express our feelings. And that can go a long way to keeping you from going to a medium much later and saying, why did me and this family member never get along? Why did they hate me? Why did we never talk? Because if you do it like that, you may get them on the bat phone. But if you do it like, I don't know why, again, anger, judgment, those kinds of things are not going to get you closure, generally speaking. So, their message here is we have to look within ourselves. We have to fix this here. The fix isn't out there. The fix isn't with our parents, our ex, our grandparents, our children. It's not there. Now, on occasion, again, when people have come at this with a more gentle and open energy, I have had people say, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I did that. I've had children apologize to their parents for taking their lives. I've had that. And that is healing. It is healing. I mean, mediumship is healing. When you talk to the other side, it is an opportunity to heal. Whether the message you got is the one you wanted or not, either way, it's an opportunity for you to heal that relationship. So you can get apologies. You can get explanations. Especially if you're gentle and you ask for them in a way of openness and acceptance and a seeking of understanding. So that's what I want to talk about today. I hope this has helped you in some way. Perhaps it's just helped you understand how mediumship works, or maybe you've learned a little bit about what our loved ones do on the other side. And maybe you've heard a call to reach out to someone and just send them a note. Not expecting anything. That's the message. That's the message. You send the note to those that are living, expressing whatever it is you need to express without judgment, without accusation, and without expectation. So you're not expecting to get a letter back. It's just for you. It's closure for you. It's the same thing in mediumship. You ask those questions in an open way, but you have no expectations because that person just may not be ready to apologize. They may not be ready to take responsibility. And even if they do, so what? They're sorry. Did that fix everything? Did that fix your sadness? Did that fix your lack of self-worth? Not really. So again, it's all about doing the work yourself here. Repair the damage that's been done yourself, within yourself. Love yourself. And then all the things that you want to happen by that person on the other side apologizing to you will happen. Whether or not you ever call a medium, whether or not you ever get an apology from them, all of those hurts will be fixed. So, many, many blessings to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Big hugs. Take good care. I'll see you again right here on this channel.